Hello guys and welcome back to another video. So what I have for you today is I have a Sculk sensor, Redstone signal strength, Encoder and Decoder. And unfortunately it doesn't have a snappy title. I thought long and hard as to what to call this, and I decided that that described exactly what it did. And this system right here is simply a proof of concept to show an idea as to how it might work. And this is a messaging system between two bases. So this here is one base, and over there in that little grey box is the second base. Sort of imagine that that's someone else's base, and that Sculk line is a little bit longer. Bear in mind that Sculk sensors do have to be within render distance when being used, otherwise there might be some signal shenanigans. In order to operate this, firstly you fall on the floor and then you go over to one of these two lecterns. And in each lectern we have letters of the alphabet. So this goes A to O, and over here it goes P to Z, and in the last couple of letters, because the alphabet stops a little bit too early, we have a few lovely sentences that we can send as well. Pre-recorded messages, if you will. So in order to show how this works, I'm going to send hi, let's play a minigame. So what we do is we select our letter and we push the button, and then we wait several seconds for this light to turn off, and then that means we can send the next sentence. So I'm just going to speed up this bit because it is a little bit slow, and then I'll be back once I've sent everything. And there we go. Everything has been sent. And once both lights have turned on and you have sent all of your message, you simply press print word and your message has been sent. And for this system, both sides can be used at once, but because we're using a shulker box at the other end, the way that you send it dictates how the message will be received on the other end. And it appears that during an earlier recording I accidentally activated the system, so there is a spare F going on there. As you can see, we've got hi, let's play a minigame. This is my second recording because the first one went a bit lopsided. So let's have a talk about the systems. Because this is quite a complicated system, I'm not going to do a tutorial for it unless there is significant interest, because it's been several months since I actually designed this, so that's part of the reason why some of this is going to be a little bit flimmy-flammy in my explanation. Just a warning. So first up, we have our encoder. And now this encoder has been tried and tested the world over. I will see if I can find a YouTube video on this design. I think I found this design on Reddit, but I'm pretty certain it originated on YouTube. But it came about when the target blocks were implemented, and it's a lot more compact than the previous designs. There is a redstone wire running underneath there, and there is also a kick out to one side to allow the redstone dust to run along here, and on the final block we don't need the repeater and the dust because we only need the target block to go into this torch. And then stuff gets a little bit more exciting. So the signal that you have chosen extends a piston out which has got a target block attached, and coming down here we have a redstone line that comes from the button. The button is situated here, and there is actually a redstone dust behind this blue concrete here. I can't break it, otherwise it will break pretty much everything. So that splits to go two ways. One is into a pulse extender, which controls the torch here and extends this bit of wool, which extends this wool block up, which prevents the center printing Sculk sensor from receiving the print command. This button here is just for the print button. And that's just in case someone who is perhaps a bit inept at reading the signs pushes it anyway. It shouldn't break anything, but it's just an extra fail-safe to prevent actual printations. And you should really build this room out of wool, because as you can see, I've sent several signals out. But anyway, following the dust along, it goes into this trapdoor, which sends the first signal. So the encoder decoder works through sending 2 signals, which is then translated at the other end. So this trapdoor here sends the first signal through. And then there is a delay of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 repeaters until it gets sent in the first one. And then it just simply increases in increments of 4 ticks between each one. And that's what this line at the back is. It's just so we don't have a massive array of repeaters. It just helps keep the entire display tickety-boo. And that's the reason why we've sort of zigzagged these target blocks up and down. It is so that I can tile these 3 repeaters at the back. As you can see, it's a little bit funky back here. And all that does is allow a delay of 3 repeaters between each set of 3. And that's how the encoder works. And then it simply follow the Sculks along. Ignore whatever I did here. I was having trouble turning a Sculk sensor around a corner in a group of 3, which is what all of this is. And then we carry along to here. And this is where it splits off. And I'm going to do the print command first because it's very straightforward. For the print, we come along here. There's just a bit of added delay here just to help smooth out the Sculk input. And then it goes into a monostable. And that simply pushes out the shulker box. Shulker box and Sculk together is a confusing world, which receives the messages, which we'll get onto earlier, and will also spit out another one. And then the finished message will come down. There is a slab under there to catch the shulker box once it gets spat out. And then it goes into that barrel here. As you can see, there is a little indicator light circuit here. And this little circuit at the bottom is just a pulse extender. So when you receive your mail, you don't have to quickly grab the barrel. It gives you plenty of time to reach in, grab your mail. As you can see, I accidentally sent a few signals earlier without having to really reach in very fast. Going on to the top, as you can see, we kind of send it upwards just because of the water streams. It makes sense to send the signal up, and then it comes into the final Sculk. So that over there is our master Sculk. This one right here, and this one is the one that receives the orders. So it once again goes into a monostable circuit, and that pushes out this observer. This observer should really be here. I think I must have just accidentally sent a signal. So once that observer gets retracted, it sends a signal along this repeater chain here. And that's just because of the delay that you have to give between a Sculker activating and reactivating. So when this signal runs out, as you can notice, once again, it is 7 repeaters. 7 repeaters over there, 7 repeaters over here. So imagine that we send A. So the second that this signal reaches this little fade out clock we've got going over there, the piston will push back, and that will do 2 things. One, it will come down here and push this piston out, which will allow the signal that's currently being faded to go through and enter this secondary fade out clock. And this fade out clock isn't actually a fade out clock, it just holds the signal steady. And that's fairly important because it allows the signal to be sent into the decoder. And it also cuts off the signal. So basically what we've done is we've said, right, the first signal that's come through has a signal strength of 15. It's going to stay as 15, so it's going to enter this area here as 15. So say we say B. So that allows this signal to have travelled through and started to fade. So it's going to reach 14 signal strength. Once again, when it gets pushed out, it will push this piston out, and this here will capture a signal strength of 14. Then we have a few extra bits of delay here, which will get pushed into this observer and will turn off this clock. And it will also send a signal down here into these target blocks, which, combined with these torches being turned on, because they've been sent from this signal here, will allow a dispenser to drop their letter into the system. And for some bizarre, convoluted reason, it's actually flipped from the way that we have it over there. It's a little bit strange, but it's basically because the signal strength here is inverse to the signal strength we send out. And that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. So it did take me a bit of a while to realize what was going on over here. But anyway, when the signal allows a dropper to shoot out an item, it spits out into the water stream and enters that area. So that's basically it. It's a little bit hard to follow. I don't really follow it. It took me several minutes earlier. Sorry, not several minutes. Several tens of minutes earlier, just staring at this, trying to remember what past me did. And in case you're wondering what this circuit here is, this is the old design. This is a slightly newer design that I designed. I was meaning to record, as you can see, it's slightly shorter than that design. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you do have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. And hopefully this will kind of inspire something else, like mostly the encoding and the decoding. The way that I've got it set up here is just an example of a way of using it. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care and have a lovely evening.